Welcome to episode 21 of the Survival Project. Episode 21 will be reflections, where I reflect on the previous 10 episodes. Today's topic will be fear. But first, before I get into it, I want to say a massive thank you to Salt's Healthcare for helping to make this possible, creating apps like OST Connect. Chronic illness no longer has to be in isolation, and I'll tell you all about it later in the episode. So, let's get into it. Chronic illness breeds fear. It's not always spoken in the episodes, but it's 100% there. So rather than actually put words in someone else's mouth, I'm going to be 100% honest with you about my fears. And since I was diagnosed, I've always been afraid. I've been afraid since I was a little boy, and I'm still afraid. There are so many fears in my mind that I'm trying to control. And recently, one of my fears, a fear that I've had since I was first told I need an ostomy, actually came to be realised. Now, it's nothing to do with health, thankfully, just a personal thought process that I've actually had since I was a teenager. Now, I'm not going to go airing my dirty laundry in public, a little bit raw yet, but I will talk about the emotion attached to the thought. The fear. This incident has really made me ruminate on all my fears over the last week. And one, of course, cascades into another. Fear exists by design to keep us safe, but fear can sabotage us, hurt us, and actually limit our potential. A very intelligent man, Peter Crone, says, people and moments will show us where we're not free. And this week, rather than fall into the pit of sorrow and let all the I told you so's bouncing around my brain start to take over, this week has actually shown me where I am free. And let me tell you, I have worked very fucking hard to get here. So first, I'm going to tell you about my fears. Then I'll tell you how I've actually worked past them. Or more correctly, I am continuing to keep working past them. Growing the mind is constant. I cannot stop. So I've always been afraid of bringing a woman into my life. I've cut off every single potential relationship that I've ever had. And why? Fear. How could I bring someone into my life with the knowledge that I have? They'll have to deal with the repercussions of my health, the hand that I've been dealt. I've always been afraid that if I really let someone in and they saw what my life actually is, how could they ever want me? That fear existed in my mind to keep me safe. Don't commit. Don't let anyone in and they can't hurt you. Another one, I've always wanted to have a child, but how could I in good conscience have one knowing that I could repeat the cycle of Crohn's? That my son or daughter could go through what I went through? Like, what if I get sick when my parents aren't there to support me? Just more fears. I've spent the last year trying to put the building blocks in place to create a career. If my health was to fail again, I'd still be able to make money. And if I can make my health my career, whether it's good or bad, I can work. But what if I fail? What if I'm not as good at this as I think I am? What if I'm just not good enough? And I know I'm not the only one with these thoughts. I'm 100% sure that at least 99% of the population deals with feelings of inadequacy, and that's even without the burden of chronic illness. To control my fears and try to stop them actually ruling my life, one of the best pieces of action I've taken is therapy, and I have done a lot of therapy work over the years. It's been brilliant. It's educated me. It's made me knowledgeable. It's made me understand my thoughts. So now when those bad thoughts come, believe me, they have come over the last few days, I can catch them. I don't want to think like this, so why would I let them continue? Now I can tell them to shush, I take a breath, and I can actually focus on the good in my life. My friends, my family, the people who truly care about me. There's so much power in a breath, and there's so much power in actually focusing on the good. If I was to let the bad thoughts control the narrative, I'd get sick mentally, and then possibly physically. There's a quote by Customado, Mike Tyson's coach, about fear. You must understand fear so you can manipulate it. Fear is like fire. You can make it work for you. It can warm you in winter. It can cook your food when you're hungry. It can give you light when you're in the dark and produce energy. If you let fear go out of control, it can hurt you and it can even kill you. But fear is a friend of exceptional people. I want to be an exceptional person. I started this podcast to help people. And how can I help anyone if I can't help myself? Does the exceptional person let his mind destroy his purpose? No fucking way. Now maybe I'll never be an exceptional man, but I promise it will not be from lack of trying. Previous 10 episodes talked a lot about the mind, and 4 of my guests in the last 10 episodes spoke about the lemon test, an actionable test to show you how what you actually imagine, what you think, affects the body physically. You can make your mouth salivate just by thinking about food. That's the power of the mind and the power of you controlling your mind. In episode 16, Cullen Collins explained how stress can actually trigger IBD. The world is stressful. Life is stressful. Is it any wonder IBD cases are rising? Stress exacerbates symptoms. Maura Geary, Namara Wild and Lorraine Cooney all talked about the power of our mind and gave actionable steps to incorporate daily to clear your mind, calm your mind, and actually understand your mind. We all know stress is a trigger, so surely taking the time to calm your mind, calm your nervous system is going to have a positive effect in your life. Makes me think of yin and yang, like every action has an equal and opposite effect. Chronic illness is as much about taking care of your mental as it is the physical, and something as simple as literally faking a smile can help. In episode 19, Namara told us the effect of one smile can give you the same feeling as winning 16,000 UK pounds. Don't believe me? Want more information? You should check out Ron Gutman's TED Talk, The Hidden Power of a Smile. I'll actually link it in the description if you want to check it out. Oh, understandably, you might be listening to this and saying, what have I got to smile about? My health is shit. I feel like shit. My life is shit. But what's stopping you giving it a go? If you still feel like shit after, what did it cost you? 5 seconds? No matter the goal, they're only achieved through repetition. One smile is not going to fix everything, but it might trick your mind back to a place that can actually help you. Maybe try stacking the smiles, see what happens. I'd never tell you to do anything I haven't tried myself, and I've looked at myself in the mirror wanting to literally smash the glass and force a smile. Now, it was an absolutely ridiculous moment, and I laughed at how stupid I looked. Big red face, watery eyes, smiling like an idiot. That laugh gave me a moment of freedom from the turmoil that was going on in my mind and the pain that was in my body at the time. Did it fix everything? No, it did not. Did it improve things? Absolutely, even for a moment. It's still not better than having that moment at all. Daniel Duckett said in episode 12, talk about it with your friends, your parents, your doctor. Do not carry it alone. He said the journey with chronic illness has peaks and valleys, but you're not stuck. There is always a way forward to make things even a little bit better. It's all about taking action. Fear for me has shown up many times as self-sabotage. Don't try, just in case it shows you you're not good enough. By refusing to take action, how can you actually grow? And refusing to take action keeps you in your comfort zone. Now, I do say comfort zone with a big massive asterisk on it, because if I was ever truly comfortable, why would I want to take action in the first place? When I spoke to Orla Kelly, she said self-sabotage isn't always you being lazy or reckless. Sometimes it's the subconscious choosing what's familiar. Being well can feel unknown, and the unknown can feel dangerous. So your body pulls you back into old patterns, not because they're good, but because they're predictable. Moira also explained why fear can actually hijack you before you even think. The nervous system learned a threat pattern and it fires way before logic gets a chance. She said neurons that fire together wire together. The body remembers. And Moira gave simple tools to help when those moments arrive. Change your physiology. Sit up, shoulders back, head up. Bring attention back into your body, something I need to practice myself. Because fear lives in the future, and the more catastrophic movies you actually run in your mind, the more stress chemistry your body actually has to live with. Just for a moment, I want to take a break from the pod to speak to you about Ostique Connect from Sol's Healthcare. One of the hardest things about living with a stoma or living with IBD can be the isolation that comes with it. I know from my own experience, chronic illness can be a very lonely place. I've been very vocal about the effect it had on me in my teenage years and how my actual fear of getting a stoma and living life with a bag nearly ended up me not being here today. If I'd had a way to connect with other people who were living with IBD or they were living with a stoma, I could have learned from their lived experience. It would have eased so much the fear of what I was going through. Connecting and learning from another is exactly why I started this podcast, which is why I want to tell you about Ostique Connect by Salts. It's the first ever peer-to-peer support app for people who are managing gut health conditions. So whether you have a stoma now, maybe you'll have one in the future, or you've had one in the past, Ostique Connect has a bespoke algorithm that helps you meet people from all over the world. People who've been on a similar journey to your own. So through the app, you can make supportive connections and you can have one-to-one conversations. It also gives you the chance to join forums and connect with a larger group of people. You can ask and you can answer any questions that arise. It's a great place to provide support in a safe space. And there's also helpful blogs and there's podcast episodes too. Ostique Connect by Salts is available to download via the Apple App Store and Google Play. So if you want to check it out, click the links in the episode description or simply search Ostique Connect. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the episode. I spoke to Owen Lancelot. I literally felt he was holding a mirror up to me and really holding a mirror up to the dark side of fear. Owen was diagnosed at 16. He was misdiagnosed. He got sent back to school while his body was literally breaking down. And something snapped in him. He said, my own body is killing me, so why would I be scared of anything? I hear you, brother. Like, you get fearless for a time, but when that fear disappears completely, it doesn't make you free. It makes you very reckless. Owen spoke about how losing the fear of dying led him into complete self-destruction. Alcohol, running from consequences. It's not because he didn't care, because he didn't actually believe there was anything left to protect. What changed everything wasn't removing fear, it was regaining choice. His ostomy bag actually allowed him to choose life again. The ostomy opened the door back to life. And now he uses his experience to drive himself to become an absolutely exceptional athlete. Owen chose to manipulate his fear and his experience to a positive. Owen is an exceptional example of taking back control in your life. Much like Owen, I started talking about my journey to help anyone who might find themselves in my situation. Like literally, what is the point in all this pain if there's no purpose? And even if there's no divine purpose in it all, we can create the purpose. There's a beautiful quote and it goes, give a man a purpose and the means to achieve it and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile. And for me, the last few days have literally felt like broken glass, but nothing will stop me moving forward, moving towards my goals. I want a healthy mind. I want a healthy life. We are not our fears. We are our reaction to our fears. Like how many young men and women will find themselves in this situation, completely filled with fear of the unknown? And I spoke to Dr. Orla Kelly, who's a consultant gastroenterologist. She said something very, very simple, but very, very important. When you're newly diagnosed, fear comes from uncertainty, from not knowing what's actually coming, from being told something is chronic, incurable, and then being sent away home to live with that information. Dr. Kelly also spoke about how fear isn't just created by illness itself, created by systems. People having to skip medication because they can't afford it, or maybe avoiding appointments because they actually can't miss work. That can cause you to live in constant anxiety about cost, access, and worrying about waiting lists when you miss an appointment. Now, I am happy to tell you how afraid I am, because if someone else had told me how afraid they were, I would have known I wasn't alone. Fear is very normal. It's a part of our life, and it's 100% a part of the journey of chronic illness. But how about we spin fear around, start to turn it on its head? Like, I will now consciously use my fears to help me take action. I'm afraid of getting sick, so my fear helps me take healthy action. All I can do is do what I can. Because before, fear immobilized me. It kept me so stagnant and was also the driver of so many poor habits. So manipulate your fears. Don't let them manipulate you. And talking about your fears, even just put them on paper, reading them back, write down how they make you feel. In episode 19, Namara had this to say about fear.
If you're constantly in fear, worry, or regret about the past, or worry about the future, you're constantly in states where you're releasing cortisol, adrenaline, and then from there, you're trying to make good choices in your life. That's really tricky. So it's not that the mind is sabotaging us. The mind's doing its job. It's what we're choosing to focus on is the problem. And where we're, again, not taking control of our minds and pointing it in a direction that's going to be helpful. So if the mind is out of control, if we're focused on the things that we think we can't manage, or, well, we can't change the past, the future will take care of itself if we're living fully and properly in the now. So to me, it's about taking control of your mind. It's like realizing where your mind is and what you're actually doing to yourself physically with where your mind is going. So what are you releasing in your body? What chemicals are you releasing in your body? So the mind's not sabotaging us. The mind's doing its job. We're just not focusing our mind somewhere that's helpful.
Now, I'll be completely honest with you. As much work as I have done, I still have so much work to do. Consciously, I can say to you I'm good and I've done all the work, but my sleep shows me the real truth. I can't stay asleep for more than an hour. Sometimes it's only 15 minutes. I will literally jerk awake in the bed. The second I shut down the conscious control, the one below takes over. Boom, buddy, wake up, it's not safe. When I spoke to Kenneth Keevy from Green Earth Organics, fear showed up in a slightly different way. Fear built into how our food is produced, the chemicals that we never see, the ones we don't really understand. These systems we're told to trust. Food that looks perfect, but possibly carries consequences we're not going to feel till years later. When I asked Kenneth what happiness meant to him, he didn't say success, he didn't say growth, he didn't say it was achievement. He said peace. Time, nature, not rushing. Fear always rushes. Peace never does. Peace is presence. Peace is something I'm striving for, we're all striving for. And controlling fear is the only way to try and achieve that. One of the things that stood out to me a lot, listening back over the last 10 episodes, was how early that fear actually enters the story for so many of us. In my conversation with Zoe Ryan, she described hearing the word incurable and everything going quiet. Like silence speaks when the words can't come. Fear often doesn't come from the illness itself. And the moment we're told what our future might look like, fear gets planted like a seed. And once it's there, it can start to shape everything that comes after. But what I love most about Zoe's honesty is that she didn't pretend fear vanished once she became a lot more confident about her psoriasis marks. Years after she started sharing her story, she described sitting on a train, there was flakes visible on her jacket, and knowing that people were looking at her and whispering. And that fear came back. Embarrassment came back. Just because we grow, it doesn't mean that the fear leaves, but our reaction to the fear changes. We can diminish its control, and that is taking back power in your life. Lorraine Cooney spoke about something that really stuck with me. IBS is often a miscommunication between the gut and the brain. Fear lives in miscommunication. The body gets a signal, the brain reads it as danger, you feel the symptom, you fear the symptom, and the fear then amplifies it. It's never all in your head, but the head is definitely involved. Lorraine explains something called the nocebo effect. It's the opposite of placebo. If you expect harm, your body can create harm. She referenced that people were given foods they believed would trigger symptoms. They reacted. And later they found out they never actually ate the food. So it was fear that created the response. That doesn't mean symptoms aren't real. It means fear is powerful and fear can create very real symptoms. In episode 12, Daniel Duckett spoke about his journey with body image. He went from really confident, he had his top off in the club, living life, to suddenly hiding himself because of his ostomy. This thing was saving his life. Because he didn't know how people would actually react until he told someone. And the guy basically said, I don't care. The moment fear lost its grip, not because the fear was any way irrational, but because reality actually proved it wrong. No, in my own life, after my first ostomy surgery, I was really struggling looking in the mirror. A girlfriend at the time, we were texting, and I was quite upset. I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to be intimate anymore. Now, I did phrase that a little bit differently, but this show is PG-13. But she said to me, shut the fuck up. Like, sometimes people can free you in a way that you actually could never do alone. IBD researcher Colin Collins clarified that stress isn't just something that makes symptoms worse. Stress can actually be the spark that starts the fire. Bacteria in your body can sense stress hormones. The gut barrier weakens under pressure. The immune system remembers fear. And sometimes we can reach for something to take away the pain. And I have spoken to a lot of people who use cannabis, smoke weed, to help with sleep or to help with pain. But from Colin's research, he explained the long-term effects. Cannabis can actually make people feel better in the moment, less pain, less urgency. But unfortunately, the research shows that months later, time later, the disease can come back a lot harder. And that made me think a lot about all the ways that we numb fear in the short term without actually asking what it's going to cost us long term. I want to take a moment to thank all my guests for coming on and sharing their knowledge and their experiences. Like, there is so much valuable information in these episodes, and I really want to thank them all for giving me their time. Of course, I also want to thank you all for listening, because your support means the world to me. Like, without you, this isn't going anywhere. It's your support that continues to help me make this grow. But before we finish, I'm going to leave you with an old Greek saying, what remains after fear is my true form. Now, I hope someday I get to see my true form, and I really hope that we all do. I hope this episode has helped someone, and if you're actually feeling afraid, so am I. It's completely normal, but remember, we are not our fears, we are our reaction to them. That's me for today, and hopefully I'll see you back again next week. Next week will be episode 22 with Josh, ostomy advocate, and Liv from Salt Healthcare. My first double guest episode, and I can't wait to share with you. Of course, thanks again to Salt Healthcare for helping make this possible. If you'd like to check out Osti Connect, you can do so by searching Osti Connect in the App Store or Google Play. Thank you for tuning in. I'll drop some links in the description.